Walter, can you tell me a little bit about how you started your journey of using singing as part of the way that you connect to different ceremonies?
Well, singing's been around since for tens of thousands of years, ever since the Creator sent that drum down for us to help us humans on this earth. And so it's nothing unique by any means, but I'm very grateful that it became part of my life because it does get used in most any ceremony, and to be able to follow that, I feel that connection to my ancestors when I pick up that drum and sing those songs. It's almost like I'm back thousands of years ago, sitting there with my great grandfathers and grandmothers doing the same thing.
Did you always sing? Were you singing since you were younger?
No, I wasn't always a singer, that's for sure. I did start when I was in my teen years, and there's a lot of teachings that revolve around that, so I never picked up the drum until I was a teenager, until I was already a man. But my journey had taken me away from the sacred ways, and so out of respect, I put the drum down for some time, and I was able to pick it up once I picked my life back up, essentially. Yeah.
Are you comfortable sharing any of your journey, or did you want to leave that out? Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the adversities that you had gone through and that brought you to singing? Because you said you put your drum down.
Yeah, not uncommon. Like a lot of stories, I was sexually abused, raped, and molested as a young child and as a young boy, and by a man who'd experienced the same thing in residential schools, and he was an uncle that sort of always was around, and that male on male contact abuse is kind of a taboo subject. It's not very spoken about, and so it was a shameful thing. It became a shameful thing for me, so I never talked about it. Anytime you tried to bring something up about abuse and that, the older people just kind of tell you, shh, don't talk about it. Just, here, drink, and put a drink in your, just drink it, drink the pain away. And I did that. I started drinking at a very early age, 14 years old. By the time I was 14, I'd dropped out of school and started living on the streets, and got into the drug scene, and along with that came, introduction into gang lifestyle, and I lived that way for many years, which is about 12 years, and until I was able to come clean by the time I was 26.
What was it that made you want to make that change? Was there something significant that said, okay, this is what's going to happen?
I can't say that I had really much of a choice in that. I think Creator has a path laid out for us that is much beyond our comprehension as human beings, and I don't know I can't say that there's one certain thing or one certain moment that made me change my ideals and my mind. It just sort of happened that way, and all the people fell into place once I became willing to submit to that way of life.
When I heard you speak for the first time, and you spoke as someone who survived that, and I had seen so many of the men I had known experience similar things, I couldn't help but feel really moved by your strength for those who didn't feel comfortable to speak yet. And then when I heard you sing, it was really, really powerful. And I saw the kind of healing that can happen from singing like that. What kind of messages do you like to share with the young people that you're at a lot of things where there's a young people, a new generation? What are some of the lessons you like to instill in them based on your own life experience?
I think, times change and people change, and while we've become a very society that's been kind of accustomed to having sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I believe that we've come to a time in this world where we're used to having all the information at our fingers, and it become very convenient to have a lot of information at that way, but we forget that there's a way that's been passed down for tens of thousands of years. So if I had anything to say to the young people, I would say, go and spend time with the old people that have knowledge. While they're still here, they're going away, and they're going away faster than you think. I just turned 40, and most of the elders that I've been very fortunate to learn from are leaving this world, and I feel very sad about that. But at the same time, I was very grateful to spend the time that I did and learn the things that I did, so that I can one day pass them down and keep this beautiful culture that we have going, is thriving.
It is thriving. It feels really strong. Well, especially around this community. It's amazing. I guess one more question I want to ask you and get you to touch on is, how can people be a part of healing, and how can they connect to culture?
Well, healing is very individual. I mean, we all go through different pains and suffering from many different things, and the way we sort of allow that to mold our life and our perspective in this world is a real testament to who we are. It doesn't mean one's stronger than another, or one's more powerful, or one's weaker. I mean, we're all just human beings, just the same. But I think it's the faith, knowing that there is help out there, that there is people who care, that there is a way out. Most of our ceremonies are healing. Probably the majority of them are about healing in one form or another, and they were given to that for a purpose. So if you wanted to heal from a certain thing, there's several different types of lodges or different ceremonies you can attend, but I suggest you take your time, carry tobacco in your pocket. That's the biggest one I would suggest. Always carry tobacco with you, because the teachers, the people that are meant to share what you're meant to hear on your journey will come if you carry that tobacco. That tobacco will carry you. It'll care for you. It'll protect you, and it'll also help you learn the things that you're meant to learn. So that's the biggest thing I can suggest, is do that and spend time and be open-minded. There's not always one way. Different tribes have different experiences, different teachings. So perhaps what your experience at one ceremony may be different at a different place. I mean, it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's about your comfort. How you feel there. So adventure. Spend some time with elders. Travel a bit, go support, go help. We can't become elders until we learn to help as well. So we all start out as basic âcimostakewin.
Are there any elders that you've had, that you've learned from, that really stick out for you? Any lessons? I mean, there's probably so many lessons, but is there any that stand out that you could share to inspire?
No, I can't really single out any individual elder. It becomes very difficult because I try to follow my Cree ancestry to the best of my ability. Sometimes I find teachings in Anishinaabe culture or Dene culture, or any Sioux or Blackfoot, and the teachings just really stand out. They ring true. I mean, we have to remember that our ceremonies were almost banned. They were banned, and our teachings were lost for a long time. So a lot of our ceremonies went underground. Even if I think about back to the Sundance, even just for an example, they were pretty much extinct across the prairies, across the north. But one man kept it hidden in the mountains, and that Anishinaabe man, Peter Ochis, he went and shared that back with the Cree people, with Blackfoot, with Sioux, with Anishinaabe, and so they were all able to revive that ceremony in their own way, and bring it back with their own teachings and their own ways. While very similar, there's differences, and it's definitely akin to each tribe's own path, own way of doing things.